secretary, Deborah D'Amico, is suing her ex-husband, disabilities advocate Darren Aquino, for the return of their son's belongings and for money owed. Darren is countersuing for legal fees.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 357 on the calendar in the matter of D'Amico versus Aquino. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mrs. D'Amico, the defendant is your former husband, and this must be one of your children.
This is my son, Brandon.
According to your complaint, your son, Brandon, was living with his father for a period of time, then came back to live with you.
Exactly.
It is your claim, one, that his father refuses to return some of his personal property, and two, that Brandon received some sort of a Social Security check, and that his father kept some of that money after he had returned to your home. Is that right?
That's true, Your Honor.
Mr. Aquino says that the things that were purchased for his son are in his home. He can come and use them whenever he wants to use them, and that he had some sort of an arrangement with his son to pay for some of that stuff, and he didn't pay for them, so Mr. Aquino kept some of his money.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. When were you divorced?
In 92, August.
How many children do you have?
3 children.
Give me their names and ages, please.
I have Nicolina, who's going to be 20, Eric, who's going to be 19 in December, and Brendan, who's 16.
Okay. When you were divorced in 1992, the children were living with whom?
With me.
For how long?
Since that time, Your Honor, I had physical custody of the children.
At this time, am I correct, according to you, that 2 of the children are living with you?
Yes, Your Honor. And the date of divorce was 93 of July. The date was incorrect.
Okay, well, I have the papers here, and it's part of the file. Regardless.
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Are 2 of the children currently living with you?
Eric and Brendan. Brendan left the home.
No, listen to me.
Yes.
You're not following my question. You're not receiving. You're thinking about an answer. Are 2 of the children currently living in your home?
One of the children are currently living in the home.
Who?
Eric.
Where's your daughter?
Nicolina had left, and I don't know where she went.
Your Honor.
Is Nicolina living with you?
Well, on and off, Your Honor. She's 20 years old. She's liberated. She goes back and forth.
But she was for a period of time living with her father?
Yes, until he threw her out.
Okay. Stop playing with your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Just a second. I ask questions,
sorry.
you answer them, then I make a decision. That's the way we go here. It's comfortable for me. I'm
Okay.
used to routine. All right. Now, when did Brendan go and live with his father?
The end of June 2001.
And when did he return to your house?
June 2002.
Why did he leave your house?
He had an argument with me. At the time, I was imposing a curfew.
He had an argument with you.
Right.
Went to his father. What kind of Social Security check does Brendan get?
Well, the father receives Social Security disability, and Brendan gets a stipend from the government based on Darren's record.
What's the nature of your disability? Is it a physiological disability
it's
or
physical,
a psych?
Yeah, it's
or
a multiple physical, Your Honor.
Multiple physical?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been on disability?
Since 1987.
Okay. What things do you claim that are in your former husband's house that belongs to your son?
Main items were TV, VCR,
Just a minute.
PlayStation,
TV, VCR, what else?
several electronic games, all his clothing, all his shoes, which I have a list of, Your Honor, right here.
But there was a TV, was a VCR, and was a PlayStation that you took to your father's house?
Yes.
And are they still at your father's house?
Right.
Why?
Why? Well, Your Honor, he left that house in a very bad way. He was thrown out at 4:30 in the morning by her. We had to go pick him up. He didn't speak with her for 6 months.
Mr. Aquino, listen to me carefully, sir. Are there any items that you have in your home that you personally purchased for your son after June of 2001 when he was living with you?
Oh, sure.
What?
I have PlayStation 2, is it?
Just a second. PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Is that correct? That's correct. What else?
Xbox.
Xbox. Is that correct? That's correct. Go ahead.
Clothes from Old Navy.
Okay.
That are still brand new in the packages.
Exactly.
Listen to me.
Yes.
5 days from today's date, all of his property, so far with the extension of PlayStation 2 and Xbox, are to be quiet, are to be packed in a box. That all, quiet, that all goes back to your son. Now, I will give you 30 seconds to convince me that that is not going to happen.
Okay, Your Honor, there is lots of complications at that household. Many of the children have had abusive treatment by the mother.
I don't care. Mr. Aquino,
Your Honor.
pay careful attention, sir. Your son is 16 years old.
That is correct.
Which means he is still a minor.
That is correct.
Should you wish to contest custody
I am
of your
doing
child,
so.
you're not receiving, you're speaking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Should you wish to contest custody of your child, you go to the appropriate family court. They will conduct a hearing with regard to whether or not he gets to stay where he wants to stay at age 16, whether it's not in his best interest to be with his mother. In the meantime, all of his property that he came to you with goes back to him. Keep going. I don't want to hear about abuse. I don't want to hear about
Thank
neglect.
you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, right now as we speak, an attorney is filing a document in Nassau County Family Court to restore him back to a stable lifestyle, which I set up for him. He did not go back to her in June. He went in August to visit. She's misinforming you. She's also filed other documents that are falsified, which I would like this court to consider that she made fraudulent statements to the Family Court of Queens.
Mr. Aquino, I want you to pay attention to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
I sat in the family court, the state of New York, the city of New York for many, many years, Mr.
I know.
Aquino.
That's why I was confident
So I'm
here today.
telling you, and I'm going to tell it to you, for the moment at least, without your son here. Wait outside. Wait outside. Fast! Fast! I have things to do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, he lived with me.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in September.
But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
doubt it.
I doubt it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Deborah D'Amico says ex-husband Darren Aquino won't return their son's belongings. Deborah also claims Darren has been withholding money from their son.
Now, one of the problems when you deal with 16-year-olds is they're very mobile. They get to go where they want to go.
Yes.
Usually when a child is over the age of 12, a family court judge in hearing a petition for custody is going to make a determination that, yes, it may be true that you present the more stable home for this child. However, if he says to the judge, there's no way that I want to go and stay with my father. I want to stay with my mother for whatever reason. And the judge is going to say, listen, what am I going to do? He's 16 years old. He can get on a bus. He can get on a train. He can take off. Where am I going to put him? So before you spend a whole bunch of money, you might be as well served if you got into some family counseling with him to try to resolve some of whatever problems exist. Because sometimes it's an exercise in futility to try to tell a 16-year-old where to live.
I understand
Not going to
that,
happen.
Your Honor.
In the meantime, it doesn't serve you well to keep this stuff as sort of ransom because it makes your son angry with you.
Yes, Your
It's
Honor.
not a good idea. Forget about his mother. I don't know if she's good or bad or a good mother or a bad mother, a psycho or not. I don't know. All I'm telling you is you have a child
Absolutely.
who right now is mad at you because you have his TV. You have his Nintendo. You have his PlayStation. All stupid things. Stupid things. But he's angry with you for that. And if you want to open a dialogue, you're smarter not to be stubborn and say, here, you want it? These are just things. All right, now I'm going to let you speak.
Your Honor, the reason I kept those things is because it was not settled that he's there. In my fight to get him back, because of the complications with the new fella in her life, now her husband, Brendan showed to myself and to my future wife these dissatisfactions and expressed to her more than me because he bonded with her as a second mother figure, which is good. It's good, okay? My concern is that these things that she shows him with the counseling, Your Honor, I've suggested that. She would interfere.
Your Honor.
She told Judge
He's a liar.
of the family
He
court,
is a liar.
who you probably know.
Right.
He got up. I've never seen a judge get up in rage with veins popping, yelling at her to shut up, that he makes the rules.
That is not
She
true.
interferes.
This man
This
has
is my
taken me to
interest.
court
This
in
is-
20 years.
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor, I must say this because I've
She's
been
cutting me
carrying him
off
for
as
20
usual.
years. This man has made false allegations, has used the judicial system to work for his benefit. He makes people lie for him. I am an upright citizen, a good mother. I've been taking care of my children since
filed a
I'm
document
divorced.
forgery
and
in
I
the
have been
Supreme Court.
supporting them since. The man doesn't even pay child support.
Not
He
supposed
is a
to. We have an
loser,
obligation
Your
not
Honor.
to do that.
And the man is making up
Because of
lies here,
fraud.
and he's telling you this like it's so, and it's not true.
Mr. Miko, what I'm telling you is, if you listen, I said, I don't care any of the stuff he's giving me. I'm telling him he's got to return the stuff.
I am so glad you did that.
Period.
I am so
End of discussion.
honored.
Because, Mr. Aquino, it's not the right thing to do
Yes, Your Honor.
to further alienate your 16-year-old by keeping property that he deems his. Now, let's move on. That's finished. Let's move on to the second part of it, which is $391 a month. I am assuming, because I'm not going into this,
That was a recent increase, Your Honor.
whatever it is, you acknowledge that you kept some of his money because you say the last insurance benefit I received, it's not insurance,
No.
Mr. Aquino, it's my money. It's Bird's money that we pay to support you because you're disabled.
Exactly.
No, it's my money that I paid into the fund.
How old were you in 1987?
28, I think.
28? And you've been collecting now for 15 years. So you've been collecting more than you worked, and you're going to collect for another 20 or 30 years. Believe me, it's not your money you put into the fund, it's Bird's money.
Thank you.
You say thank you.
So
You misused their
Mr.
money.
Aquino,
Yes,
pay
Your
attention
Honor.
to me. Believe me, I've been around the block longer than you have, Mr. Aquino.
Yes, Your Honor.
Trust me. So it's not insurance money.
No, ma'am.
It's
not.
Bird's money that went to your son that you kept, and you kept at a time when he wasn't living with you because you
Not
acknowledge
so.
that.
Not so, Your
No,
Honor.
no, that's what you
no,
said.
No. He
what you
took
said.
it in advance, Your Honor, to buy those sets. He says, Dad, can I have this money to buy the box? And
Just a sec.
August
Shh.
check?
I want you to be quiet. I got you now. Let me say. So what you're saying is he took... Quiet, Mr. Aquino.
I can't tell you if I'm quiet.
Mr. Aquino, what you're saying to me, sir, is that your son took an advance on his Social Security disability payment,
My Social Security disability
His.
payment. His beneficiary payment.
Bird's money, so that he could buy a PlayStation 2 and other electronic games.
And the cassette.
Wrong. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Listen to me, sir. If you, as his parent, choose to purchase electronic games for him, you don't make the choice unless it's out of your money. Now, if he's living with you, and because you say, well, you're going to get a check
living
net.
with
Mr. Aquino, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, sir. Because there may be something physiologically wrong with you, but there's nothing psychologically wrong with you,
That is
except you're a little
correct.
bit of a hustler. And when you say
Thank
to me, quiet, and when you say to me he took an advance so that after he moved out, I kept that money, I'm telling you that that's a hustle. Now, he moved out according to you in August.
That's
According to
correct.
his mother in June, according to you in August. Did you keep August's benefit?
August benefit went to her.
Your Honor, I got copies of the 2 checks
Can I
that
see
I
it,
got.
please?
I got statements to Social Security, too, of the misuse
These
of
are
the
the 2
funds that
checks
she's
that
had.
I did receive
Okay?
since Brendan has been back with me.
Brendan has never received any use of his money while in Deborah's care.
Just a second. He's not supposed to get the money, Mr.
It's for the
Aquino.
parent to
60,
use.
it's not for the parent
For
to
his
use.
Quiet.
support.
Quiet. He is not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino.
At an age.
He's not
No.
supposed to get the...
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
He's not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino, until he reaches his majority. At 16, he is still a minor, which is why you can go to the family court to try to get custody of him, because he's still a minor. He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, he lived with me. What do you mean? He lived with us.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in
Yes.
September. He didn't live with you in August.
Of what year?
2002.
No, he did not. But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
doubt it.
I doubt
don't.
it.
I doubt it.
When they see the fraud that she committed in the courts,
I know
I
he makes
doubt
allegations
it.
of fraud.
I don't doubt it. You filed
I'm
a false
talking-
document in Supreme Court.
You received August's check for 2002?
It
That's what it
indicates
says.
on the check I received
August 2000
August.
to me. You have August and you have October. And I don't. You had better find out from them what happened for September, because they skipped
They're
September.
a month behind. You get the previous month when
I
they
don't
send
want
it
you
to
to
you.
interrupt me again. You
No,
may interrupt
Your
her. You don't
Honor,
interrupt me.
You're
Trying
wrong.
to explain
No,
the checks
don't
and how they
explain
come.
anything. Don't
I'll
explain
tell you
anything.
what
They're my
happened.
benefits.
I'm not
I'll explain how they
interested.
come.
Pay attention.
Let me make that
You have
clear.
August, and according to you have October. You go to them and find out where September
They
is.
told me they reissued it back to Darren because
Wasn't
he went
reissued
to
to
the
me.
Jericho.
Show me proof. Show me proof.
Well,
that
I
they
don't have
reissued it
proof.
to
I
him.
only have proof that I applied 2 times to be payee within the course of the past several
Fine.
months. I can show you that, Your Honor.
Just a second. Mr. Aquino, you've been sworn today, and you testifying, sir, under oath, that you did not receive September's check for your
September's
son.
check. I didn't receive September's check. Did it come into the... She does the... It goes into a
Did-
direct deposit.
Just a second. Did you receive September's check?
No, Your Honor.
Did you receive a check in October?
No, Your Honor.
You have not received a check since August.
Correct.
That
I have
check-
maybe a
Shh,
possibility why that is, Judge.
I don't care why it is. You said that you did not receive it.
That is correct.
Your fiancé said it did not come in. That's under oath. Very easy to
Your
get
Honor,
a
I
tape.
have letters
Shh.
here indicating that he was changed, the payee was changed to his
Listen to
name
me
again.
very-
So he would have had to have gotten the check somehow, either by direct deposit
Your
or
Honor,
the mail, Your Honor. I have
They're
2 notices
suspending
here
the
from
check
Social Security.
because of the problems
No,
with
they're not.
Debbie.
No,
And
Listen
my
to me, Mr.
contact with the
Aquino.
office. Yes.
All I'm saying to you is, and I want you to be quiet and stop moving from side to side, sir.
I have a limp,
You-
so I
No,
can't
no.
stay.
You're nervous because you're hustling me a little
No,
bit.
I'm not hustling
Okay?
you, Your
You're
Honor.
nervous because you're
I wouldn't
hustling
hustle
me.
you. You're too
Oh.
sharp.
Your Honor,
Yo,
I
yo,
wish
yo,
you
yo,
would
you're
please
too
look
sharp
at
for me.
these.
Right.
Your Honor.
Miss,
These
I'm
two
gonna,
are-
I'm gonna throw you both out.
I'm sorry, Your
I'm
Honor.
throwing you both
Throw her
out.
out.
Now, 5 days from today, you are to get all of the property packed up. You make arrangements to have it picked up by a third party, a mover or whatever. With regard to the money, take it up with Social Security. Now, let's get to your counterclaim, which is nonsense. Mr.
Nonsense?
Aquino, it is
Why you
your
say it's
claim. It is
nonsense,
your
Judge?
claim. Shh, quiet. You say that you paid legal
Not
fees
true.
for your son Eric when he was in trouble last year. Is
No.
that right?
Eric was 18. It's for a charge when he was 16.
Yeah.
While he was living in her care.
Yeah.
That these things were concealed from me. And then at the end, she dumps him on my lap and says, now you take care of it. Take care of what? I said.
Okay.
I supported him. We have an obligation under the court, Your Honor.
What is it that you paid for him?
$3,000. We assigned it over to Anthony. You probably know the name. As Eric's counsel.
Who hired the lawyer?
She asked me to go and call my
No.
friend Anthony.
No, just a second. She asked you to go and call your friend,
Right.
who is a lawyer,
We were going to have legal
Shh,
aid
shh,
for
shh,
him.
shh, shh, shh.
Yes.
and you did that.
Yes. And she also
John,
met me at the court.
shh. Don't volunteer. Just answer my questions. Where did you get $3,000 from?
I'll let Stephanie answer that.
No,
Stephanie
I
took
don't
it
want
from her
Stephanie to answer it. I want you to answer it.
phone. Okay. Stephanie took it out of her IRA.
Should have let legal aid represent him, sir.
That's what I said.
That ain't what she said.
That's what I
Absolutely.
She pleaded with
okay.
me and cried.
This case is resolved as follows. 5 days from today's date, all the property is to be returned to your son. It's very unfortunate that you can't put a period to the end of all of this heartache and
I'd
say,
like to.
shh, and say, for the sake of all the children and maybe grandchildren to come, we're going to get along here. Maybe we should all get together and try to be cooperative and try to work together as a family. That's not going to happen.
That would be wonderful. but
Good.
that's
Give
a
him back his
fantasy with her.
stuff, and that's it. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is case number 315 on the calendar in the matter of Haig versus Webster. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Haig, this gentleman used to be your son-in-law. He's married to your daughter, and they have 2 children. Is that right?
Yes.
You are suing him for the balance owed on a washer and dryer that was purchased on your credit in 1994 when the defendant and your daughter were married. You bought it for about $1,000 from Sears. Is that right?
Yes.
And they were to pay off so much per month for the remainder of their natural lives. Well, then there came a time later on that you and your husband decided to buy a 2-family house with your daughter and her husband. And you did. In what year did you buy this 2-family house?
1995.
And in that 2-family house, 4 of you and the 2 grandchildren also came the washer and dryer, which I assumed you all used. Is that right?
Yes.
And then there came some marital difficulty. And in the year, according to what I've read here, 2000, your daughter left.
Yes.
And Mr. and Mrs. Haig, you stayed in the house for a while. Is that right?
Yes.
Then you decided to buy them out of the house.
Yes.
Now, so from 1995 until 2002, this house was owned jointly, and everybody used the washer and dryer. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Webster, when your former wife left you, what happened to the children?
They stay with me and I take care of them.
And they're two boys.
Yes.
And how old were the children at the time?
3 and 5.
Was there a custody trial with regard to the children?
Yes. I mean, in the divorce. Yes, in the divorce.
So your former wife did at some point request custody of the children?
No. No,
She didn't- she did not?
No. She got remarried and went on her own life.
Okay. So there was never a dispute as to who would have custody of
No.
the children? Did there ever come a time when you had problems with your in-laws?
No, not until I couldn't take it no more at the house with them at the house and everything. So
What do you mean you couldn't take it anymore?
it was just him not working, me paying more money than I'd had to, me just paying more and more and more money. Something had to be done, and that's why I bought them out. And I thought that was going to be it.
How much money did they get when you bought them?
Exactly $23,900.
How much money did you put in, sir, as a down payment on the house?
$6,500.
And you walked away with $24,000, is that right?
That's right.
It was a good investment.
Yes, it was a very good investment.
Very good. So now let me ask you this question. What in the world are you doing here? You have 2 grandchildren that he's taking care of. That washer and dryer was paid over the last 8 years. There's no question about that. $25 here, $50 there. Everybody used the washer and dryer. The whole washer and dryer cost $1,000 8 years ago. You just closed a property where he's living with your grandchildren, and you made a handsome profit. You explain to me why, under those circumstances, you people would be foolhardy enough to come to court and sue him.
Okay, number one, the bill wasn't paid.
Why didn't you pay it? You lived there, you used the washer and dryer. Why didn't you pay it?
Because I got sick.
Well, that's not his fault. He's got
no,
2
that
children
is
to take
that-
care of. You're
that
not
is-
his child.
that-
You got sick, you got sick.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with me? Or him? Or your 2 grandchildren if you got sick?
Well, I got sick, and when I got sick, I told him that I wanted to sell the house before we got into this financial problem. He did not want to sell the
Just
house.
a second. You wanted to sell the house after your daughter left?
Yes, right after, actually before my daughter left, I wanted to sell the house.
He lives there with your grandchildren.
I wanted to have him buy me out or sell the house so that I didn't have any obligations in the house because I went 3 years without getting any money.
So?
And I told him I couldn't afford to pay all the payments.
So he paid. Just
and
a minute. So he paid. What you couldn't pay, he paid. Is that what you're telling me?
Not all of it.
I don't care all of it. I don't care of a piece of it. He's taking care of your 2 grandchildren. You're not related to him by blood. Your daughter goes and takes off with somebody else, remarries, has a happy life. He's staying there. He's watching your 2 grandchildren. He's got to take care of you. He's got to take care of your wife. And now you have the audacity to come to court and want a washer and dryer that you bought in 1994 that the whole family used? I don't understand you, Mr. Haig. Is there something wrong with you?
No, there isn't.
There's a lot wrong with you.
No, there isn't.
Oh, yeah, there is. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds to convince me, sir.
Okay, when we first bought it, they took and they paid all the bills. Chris and Deborah paid the bills.
Just a minute. Chris and Deborah, where was Deborah working?
At Safeway.
She was working after the 2 children were born?
Yes.
Full-time?
Part-time.
What was he doing?
He was working full-time as a carpenter.
So he's working full-time, she's working part-time at Safeway, and you're not
That's right.
working at all.
And I was working part-time myself, and in some
So the
money.
only one working full-time is him?
That's right.
All right.
Now, I told him that I was getting worse than what because of my condition. I told him that I wanted to liquidate my part of the house so that he wasn't responsible for me. And he did not want to sell the house. He did not want to buy the house. He said he would make up the difference in the bills. I sat down and I explained to him that when we sold the house or when I got my SSDI, that I would pay him back.
So how much did you pay him back?
I paid him
$600.
I paid him back all the money that we owed.
Oh, did he pay you back?
No.
How much did he give you?
Okay. It came down to where I offered him $20,000 for a buyout. He wanted $25,000. And it got knocked down. I paid for the $2,500 when we all bought the house together. He got that out of me. Everything that they ever put anything in downstairs, money-wise, I gave him $1,500 because they spent $3,000. I gave him $1,500. And then he told me that he wanted me to sign and pay for this washer and dryer. At the time, I was just giving him so much money and just wanted him out of my life so that I can start over and just be alone with my boys. I just said, okay, and then I never signed nothing. I just said
I don't
no.
know whether you signed anything or not. You paid him back You
I paid
say
him a
what
lot
you
more.
owed him by decreasing the amount that you should have gotten when you sold the
Yes.
house?
Yes.
Okay, you still made a handsome profit when you sold the house. So instead of making $24,000, maybe you should have made $30,000, right? Fine.
Yeah.
You still made a handsome profit.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have the opportunity to be there and participate in the rearing of your grandchildren. What a gift that could be if you were nice people.
And later today,
When the landlord showed up the 20th to get rent, he saw holes in the walls that they left in their room and in the door.
Did you make any holes in the walls?
No, ma'am, I did not. Her and her boyfriend be fighting all the time. That's where the holes came from.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald and Donna Haig claim ex-son-in-law Chris Webster owes for the cost of a washer and dryer. Chris says the Haigs have been ignoring their grandchildren.
Listen, Mr. and Mrs. Haig, do you see your grandchildren?
Right now, no,
Why is that?
because we don't see him.
I'm asking you why.
Because the feelings between him and I,
What kind of feelings?
it's bad.
Why?
I don't
Over what?
understand.
Over what?
Over the payment, because
Over
he
the
threw-
washer dryer?
Over the washer and dryer. And also, when I went to talk to him about it, he called the cops up, and the cops told me not to come back to the house. Because if I came back to the house, I would be arrested.
Okay. Now, why don't they see their grandsons?
I have no idea. His birthday, my 8-year-old son, Brandon, his birthday was this past Monday. Not one card, not one phone call, not nothing.
Did you send your grandson a birthday
Yes,
present?
I did.
You sent him
Where
a
was it?
birthday
Yes,
present?
I sent him a card. Yes, I did.
Card. Children like cards. They like presents. Why didn't you send him a birthday present?
Because I had put money in the card for his birthday present.
I don't believe that at all. Listen, if I construe this as a debt, I construe it as a joint debt. As far as I'm concerned, that debt should have been over. Certainly, 8 years later, the statute of limitations has run on that debt in any jurisdiction. And in this court, we use the doctrine of laches, which means if you sit on your laurels and you don't collect the debt, then it's forgiven. More importantly, I don't understand why grandparents, when they have a daughter who takes off, starting a new life, mothers usually don't do that, that are wrapped too tight. Got 2 little boys that she leaves with the father. You're living with the father, so you have the opportunity to be there and participate in the rearing of your grandchildren. What a gift that could be if you were nice people. What a wonderful opportunity that would be for you, madam, to say, look, my daughter's not here full-time. I got the 2 little boys. He's a carpenter. He works full-time. You know, I can be here. I can help shop and cook and take care of the boys if I want to. You're worried about a washer and dryer purchased in 1994. Your priorities are all screwed up, and I have no time for you. Your case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step back.
I'm just glad it's over.
I don't think it was fair.
I don't know how much more money I have to pay.
I'm very upset about it.
Anytime they ever want to do anything with the grandkids,
Oh, I'd like to be part of their lives.
all they have to do is just call.
I want to see everybody together, except I don't want nothing to do with Chris.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McKay Schuler versus Anglin. Step forward, please.
19-year-old waitress Ashley McKay and her boyfriend, 23-year-old dishwasher Craig Schuler, are suing their ex-roommate, customer service rep Brandy Anglin, for the return of personal property. Brandy is countersuing for rent, a security deposit, and the cost of living expenses.
Miss McKay, were you a friend of the defendant's?
No, we were a friend of her boyfriend.
Okay. According to your complaint, you and your boyfriend moved in with the defendant because you were having some financial difficulties and I gather got evicted from where you were living. You say that she agreed to let you stay there until you got back on your feet. Then something happened, she threw you out. It's your claim that she kept some of your property. You want her to pay for the property she kept. The defendant says that she did in fact keep some of your property because you owed her so much money, that you were there for 3 months, and in the 3 months that you were there gave her a total of $40. You didn't pay rent, you ate all of her food, you had a lot of other bills that you had while you were there, and she's counterclaiming. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move into her house?
August 19th.
And when did she put you out?
It was September 18th.
So you were there 1 month?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No.
When did she move in?
July
July what?
29th.
And when did she move out?
September 18th.
So she was there 6 weeks. Okay. What stuff do you claim she kept?
We have a whole list right here. We have a 27-inch TV, a DVD player, a stereo, PlayStation 2, a fridge. We had Oriental rugs that were taken, my cell phone, DVDs, PlayStation games, VCR tapes, CDs, the book that had our CDs in it, our CD holder.
Where's all that stuff?
I don't know. I'm missing stuff also, and I take it that they didn't receive it either. But I do have.
I don't understand what
a
you're
few
talking
things.
about. When you moved out, all this stuff was in the house, and I gather you told them to leave.
I told them to leave that night.
That night, and they
come back.
left. And at the time they left, all that stuff was in the house.
Yes.
So where is it now?
My stuff's missing too, also.
No.
Okay, where
The
the
day
stuff is?
they left, because you told them to leave. You were angry about something. I don't care what you were angry about. They left, and they didn't have opportunity to take all this stuff when you told them to leave that night. The next day, where was their stuff?
Still in the house.
When did you realize it was no longer there?
When the landlord showed up the 20th to get rent, and when I paid him the rent, he comes in the house like he usually does, and his translators come in, and he saw holes in the walls that they left in their room and in the door, and he told me to get out. So in the process of moving my stuff, some of my stuff came up missing.
I don't believe a word she says. When did you go back to get your property?
The 19th. So it was the very next day that we went back.
All right, you're suing for $3,000. The stuff that you have on this list is substantially more than that, but I gather that your limit is $3,000 in
Yes,
small
correct.
claims court. Is that right? Okay. I don't believe this much of what you just told me about. I have no idea where their 27-inch TV is, where their DVD player is, where their VCR is, their PlayStation, where their small refrigerator is. I don't believe that you don't know where
I
that
do
stuff
know
is.
where that is.
Where is
I
it?
do. I've got that in storage at the place that I'm staying at.
Oh,
I do. The
there
TV,
you go.
not
There
the
you
DVD,
go.
but a VCR and a cell phone, which actually we have the same cell phone, but mine's a prepaid and hers a CenturyTel, and I have tried to return that to her because I don't want obligations to where accidents, somebody getting a hold of her phone.
What about
and
a
make cell
television,
phone.
her DVD player, a stereo, PlayStation, refrigerator?
No, PlayStation, I do not have. I do not. I will account for what I do have. I have 5 items of theirs.
Well, then let's hear what 5 items you have.
I have the 27-inch TV.
Okay.
I have a VCR. I have the mini refrigerator.
Okay.
I have the cell phone and a microwave.
Now, I'm going to go over this very carefully with you, because if I find anything on here that I don't believe that you actually left when you left, that's not a good idea for you. You've got $400 worth of jewelry. You want to tell me about that?
Most of it was rings that my mom gave to me when she was about 16. She gave them to me. That's when she had them. I had a silver necklace from my grandma. I had 2 of those.
Why didn't you take that with you when you left?
When we were kicked out, it was about 12:30 at night, and she said, "Get the out of my house. I have 2 gentlemen downstairs that will escort you out if you don't leave."
What items did you take when you left?
We got dressed, put our coats on. I grabbed my purse, money, car keys. That was it, and we took out.
Where's her jewelry?
I don't know where the jewelry is. I do not. I've never seen her wear a bit of jewelry. I don't know.
Do you have any of her CDs?
No, I do not.
You know where they are?
No, I do not.
Okay. Within 5 days, the TV, VCR, refrigerator, cell phone, and the microwave are to be turned back to the plaintiffs. They're in storage?
Yes, they are.
What's the name of the storage?
It's actually at the place where I'm living, in the basement. That's the storage. My stuff is in storage also down there. I'm using my ex-mother-in-law's house as that, because I have a lot of my stuff down there also.
What's your counterclaim?
Okay, they lived with us rent-free. Okay.
6 weeks, right.
Yeah. They made me lose my deposit on the house because they're little bickering, arguing, fussing, fighting all the time. And I lost my deposit because they got too upset at each other and him throwing stuff or punching the walls or whatever it is. I lost my deposit on my house.
You mean your security deposit?
Yes, I do.
Did you make any holes in the walls?
No, ma'am, I did not. Her and her boyfriend be fighting all the time. That's where the holes came from.
Go ahead.
They'd sleep all day. I even got her job at where I was working.
Would you tell me what they owe you money for, please?
What they owe me money for? They lived there rent-free. They ate all the groceries. The only groceries they brought in, I guess, was at like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd bring them in snacks.
Well, what was your arrangement with them?
My arrangement was $325 a month, and it was supposed to be including everything but food, which is gas and electric, stuff like that.
When did you make this arrangement with them?
Arrangement was made with them in July, the beginning of July. Other than that, but they, I'd watch his son when they were up doing whatever they wanted to.
What money did you give them towards the expenses of running the house?
Well, we did only give them $40. We had no agreement before we moved in.
Let's say you didn't.
Okay.
What about food?
She said she took care of the food. We could eat whatever we wanted. Her cabinets were always stocked, as long as if we made dinner, we made enough for everybody, and they would do the same thing.
Well, who bought the food?
She did.
Why should she support you?
We actually, when I started working, we went out to eat like every night. We started keeping food up in our bedroom. That's why the fridge was in our bedroom that my mom bought us, because we felt like we weren't allowed to eat there. All we did eat there was like eggs, cereal, macaroni and cheese, just side items. We didn't get into any meat, any expensive things
What
whatsoever.
difference does it make? That's food. Why should they support you?
That's just what she told us when we moved in. That
Why would she do that? Why would she do that? I don't believe that you necessarily had a rent arrangement with them, but I certainly believe that you didn't have an arrangement with them where you were going to support them like they were your children for the 6 weeks that they were there. And even if they paid minimally to cover some of the expenses, $50 a week, which was minimally what you absorbed while you were there, that would be $300 for the 6 weeks that you lived with them. I think that the rest of your stuff here maybe is worth $500. The difference in that is $200, and that's what you're going to get, period, plus the remainder of the stuff that she has that's in storage. That's all. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is case number 312 on the calendar in the matter of Collins versus Tierno. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Ms. Collins, your complaint against the defendant is as follows. You lived together for a brief period of time. You decided that the relationship wasn't for you. You were moving out. According to you, the defendant became a little hostile, had a hissy fit, and damaged your property, your car and personal property. He says, well, there might have been some weakness in the car that caused the damage. He really didn't do anything. Right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you live together?
It was about 3 months.
Okay. And what date did you decide to move out?
It was in August, the 23rd. Actually, it's 22nd.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
I was packing boxes to put in the car and had the hatchback open, and he came in.
Your car has a hatchback.
Yes.
According to
yes. And he saw the boxes and started freaking out, getting mad. Oh yeah, you want to leave? Go ahead. And I'll help you. And just start loading boxes out and taking and dumping them. And he
dumping them
in the car, like in a big pile. And one of the boxes, my video camera came flying out and broke it.
So he was helping you pack.
Helping, exactly.
And putting the things in the hatchback. Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
Then, on top of everything else, he put my stereo, my speakers, and he was trying to close the back, and he was doing like over and over, and he did it really hard, and the window broke. It was just a mess.
So that's the property damage that you're complaining of?
Yes.
Because there was glass all over your clothes, and it shattered, and whatever. Okay.
And paints, my paints were back there, I just dumped them out, and they were on my good suits and everything, and so that's what happened to my suits.
Well,
what paint and
where was the
glitter
paint
and stuff
from?
Stuck. Well, I'm an artist, and I had some paints and things, for arts and crafts.
Oh, so he
took and dumped them on top of my clothes, right?
Okay.
And then the speakers and the stereo went on top of that.
You have photographs of the car and an estimate for the damage, so I can take a look?
I have receipts. I don't really have photographs.
You have receipts for the hatchback window? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see.
Out of the box and went for a tumble on the street.
Okay. How much did you pay for it?
It was about $600.
You have a bill?
No, I couldn't find that receipt.
All right, Mr. Tierno, let me hear your version of the events, sir.
You want to hear the whole sordid story from the beginning?
No, I don't want to hear the whole sordid story. If I wanted to, I'm speaking. Listen to me. You asked me a question. At least give me the courtesy of permitting me to answer your question.
Okay.
I do not wish to hear the whole sordid story of your relationship. I wish to hear what happened on the 22nd of August when you came home and found her packing.
I came home from work. She was packing boxes. She said, I'm packing my stuff and moving. It's not working out between the two of us. This just came out of left field. I asked her what she was doing, and she said that she was moving out. Well, so I helped her. I started helping her.
Tell me how you did that.
What's that?
Tell me how you helped
throwing
her.
stuff around.
Shh. Interrupt him.
I grabbed the boxes that were packed already, and I put them in her car.
What happened to her window?
What happened to her window? When I felt that the car was full, I went to shut the back window, and after shutting it, or after trying to shut it a couple times, I gave it one good one, and it just broke. The window broke. I didn't do it intentionally, ma'am.
No, it was negligent. Either it's intentional or it's an accident. An accident usually is a result, happens as a result of negligence. She didn't break the window.
No, she didn't, ma'am.
So who should pay for the window?
Well, how about the things that she broke of mine, personal property that...
Shh. Please, Ms. Collins, I don't have a counterclaim, Mr. Tierno, so let's not get into what things she broke of yours. What I want to know is, who do you think should pay for the window? Let us assume that I accept your version of the events, that you come home from work, you find her packing. You had no clue that she was going to leave.
Right.
But you very calmly decided to help her pack. And you were packing and putting boxes. I'm speaking.
Oh, excuse me.
And according to this is what you just told me.
Right.
You were packing and you put the boxes in the car, and then you tried to close the hatchback at the time when you felt as if the car was full. You tried it a couple of times, and then you finally gave it one good one, because those were your words. Wasn't that his word? One good one.
One good one.
And the window shattered. So my question to you is, who should pay for the
Well, it didn't
window?
really shatter, it just
Her,
cracked, but...
her, or you?
Well, in an argument between a man and a woman, and we got into an argument, and she was throwing things at me, breaking stuff, you know, of mine, okay?
You mean on that day, August 22nd?
Yeah, we got into an argument.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me that, Mr. Tierno.
Okay, well, maybe
Mr. Tierno, what you told me, sir, was you were helping her pack because she wasn't working out. She wanted to leave. You didn't say anything about an argument, sir.
Okay.
So now you had an argument.
Yeah, we had an argument.
Oh, that's a different story. So when you...
I thought you would realize that, you know, I come home and my girl is packing up her stuff, and yeah, it was kind of...
Oh, no, sir. She said you had an argument. You just said that you came home and you were helping her move her boxes in the car. So there was an argument.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you break any of his property?
No, I did not break any of his property.
She did break stuff of mine.
What did I supposedly break?
Shh. Quiet.
And later today,
Car just lost control.
He grabbed the steering wheel. He didn't just grab it and like make it move and make me lose control of the car. He grabbed it, pulled it down right here, and held it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Carlene Collins says ex-boyfriend Bobby Tierno destroyed her belongings after they broke up.
What other receipts do you have?
The other receipts I have are for the suit, my good work suits, and my art supplies that got smashed underneath the stereo when it got thrown in there, and paint everywhere and stuff. And then after that...
Did you break any of his property?
No, I did not break any of his property.
Okay, just asking you. I don't have a counterclaim, so I'm just asking
I
you.
didn't throw anything.
Whether there's a counterclaim or not, I mean, the truth is she did break stuff of mine.
Well, I don't have
What?
a counterclaim, sir.
What did I supposedly break?
Shh. Quiet. Now, what suit are you talking about? Which suit is this?
There was a few. I don't have them all. I just
Well,
have
I'm
like
about
one of
to
my
listen.
good ones.
Listen to me. What suit is that? That's the suit that's there. Because I have a bill.
This one, actually, this one I didn't have a receipt for.
Ms. Collins, why would you save this suit for which you don't have a receipt and not bring the suit for which you do have a receipt?
Well, because I thought that I could somehow save this one. There's the skirt doesn't have anything on it. You know, the other ones were just it wasn't even worth saving. They were just.
You should see my apartment when she was painting all over the place on my furniture.
Listen
and
to me. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to
this.
hear from you now. I'm asking her a question. You're not. This is not a bad thing that I'm asking her questions.
When I decided to file a claim and sue for that, I had already tossed the stuff.
All right. He absolutely owes you for.
Now there was some time they had to.
He absolutely owes you for a new hatchback glass for your car.
Why?
Why? Because you broke it, sir. That's why.
Now he was calling.
Why? Because you broke it.
Well, how about the stuff that she ruined of mine? How about the rent?
Sue her. Just a minute. Sue her.
I understand.
Do you understand? She has the right
Well, Your
to
Honor,
sue you, which she has
maybe
done.
I could talk some sense to
Which
you.
she has done. She sued you for breaking the hatchback of her car, which you acknowledge that you did.
And the time off of work.
Judgment for the plaintiff. The car cost you $2,094.45. Thank you very much. That's all.
What about?
That's it.
Why is our excuse? You may step out.
He knew what he did. You know what? I guess he just thought that he just wasn't going to have to pay for anything.
When we get in a fight, she'd throw things, and she'd knock over a little knick-knack on the table or a lamp.
I don't break things.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Spear versus Green. Step forward, please.
22-year-old waitress Jamie Spear is suing the father of her child, 20-year-old Job Corps worker Antoine Green, for the cost to fix her car. Jamie says Antoine caused her to crash into a telephone pole.
Ms. Spear, you and the defendant have a child in common, and it is your claim that the defendant caused your car to be totaled.
Yes, ma'am.
You were driving the car, but his actions caused your car to be totally wrecked. The defendant says that it was your fault, that you were arguing with him, and you had no business driving anyway because your license was suspended. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is the child that you share?
2 years old.
Now, what was he doing in your car?
Okay, he went to Job Corps about a year ago. He just got back and he just got a job. This is the first job he's had in going on 2 years. So this is the first real child support.
You went to Job Corps?
Yes.
What did you do in Job Corps?
I took up a trade, brick mason.
And you came back and got a job as a brick mason?
No, I came back and got a job as, I'm working for the city of Winston-Salem right now.
Go ahead. Okay, he called me that day because he was getting off work early. He wanted me to take him to cash his first check, and I agreed. And so, being this his first check...
Okay, so far, was that your first check that you were getting from your job that day, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ask her to come and pick you up?
Yes.
Okay, so I picked him up, and he wanted me to go cash his check, and we're on the way, and we decided that we weren't going to go through the court system to get child support. He wanted a chance to just give me money or pay for her. And so I asked for $40 a week. As we're going to go cash the check, I said, okay, this is what I want from you. Mind you, I haven't had any child support up until now. So he started telling me that he wasn't giving me money for me to go partying with or to waste and spend on myself. And it hurt me because I've been doing all this by myself. So that started a heated argument, and we started arguing. We were driving down the road. He got mad. He reached over. He grabbed the steering wheel. He didn't just grab it and make it move and make me lose control of the car. He grabbed it, pulled it down to right here, and held it. So we went up on the sidewalk. We hit a tree. It kind of sideswiped, and then we hit a telephone pole, I think it was, in front of that, which stopped the car. Luckily, there wasn't a scratch on any of us, but the car is totaled, and my daughter was in the car. We could have all died. We were lucky.
Who takes care of your baby?
I take care of her. When I go to work on the weekends, his mother keeps her.
So you only work on the weekends?
No, I work on Monday nights and Thursday nights and Friday and Saturday.
You get any sort of sustenance from the state?
No, just I had daycare assistance, but that's it.
How many days a week?
5.
Well, what do you do when your daughter is in daycare?
Well, I was working lunches, but I wasn't making enough money, so I had to go back to working dinners.
Why don't you find another job to do if you're getting daycare?
I'm going to school in January, and I'm trying to find a second job. I am.
Why don't you work breakfast and dinner and lunch? I mean, if the state is paying for your daycare, Miss Spear, they're paying for your daycare not so you could stay home and watch soap operas in the afternoon. They're paying for your daycare so that you can be out there working.
Right.
Now, you have a suspended driver's license?
I do.
Why were you driving?
Well, actually...
Not actually. Why were you driving if you're not supposed to be
The
driving
day that the accident happened is when I found out that my license was revoked. She came back to me and said that your license had been revoked.
Why was it revoked?
Because I had an outstanding ticket.
For what?
For speeding.
That you didn't pay?
I haven't had the money to pay.
Well, that's because you were home watching soap operas instead of working lunches. Now I'll hear you. Did you know, Mr. Green, that Miss Spear had a suspended driver's license?
Yes,
when
I
you
knew
called
that.
her?
I knew that.
He did not.
Did you?
Shh. I'm sorry.
He says he did. When did you find out that she had a suspended driver's license?
I found out when the accident happened.
Oh, so you didn't know?
Yeah, I know now.
It's not what I asked you. I want you to try to follow what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now you tell me your version of the events. You called her up and she turned off her TV and she came to pick you up. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. Pick it up from there.
So she picked me up from work. I got off early, and the first thing she asked me is about the child support. She wanted me to give her $40 a week.
Now, how much more was that than you had given her all of last year, sir? Last year, how much were you giving her a week?
I wasn't giving her pretty much.
What?
I really didn't have a steady job then.
Just a minute. Oh, now I understand. So, you didn't give her anything last year.
I gave her something.
How much?
If I could, about $50, if I could.
So you gave her nothing last year. And the year before, how much were you giving her a week, the year before? A week?
It was close to a couple of $100.
A week?
Yeah.
Really? You were giving her a couple $100 a week?
Yes.
That's a lot of money. Where were you getting a couple $100 a week from?
I had a good job then.
So why did you go into Job Corps?
Because I wanted to get a trade to make more money.
Well, you didn't do that.
No.
It didn't help you.
No, I'm still working on it, though.
You gave up a job where you could afford to give her $200 a week to go into Job Corps? How much were you making at this job?
$300 a week.
So Mr. Green, you are one of the most generous people I know. So you're making $300 a week from your job and you're giving her $200 a week child support. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
You believe that? This is coming from a man who didn't want to give her $40 a week.
No, let me tell you.
$40 a week. So you're telling me first you were giving her $200. Let me follow this, Mr. Green. You're giving her $200 a week because she had a really good job making $300 a week. So 2/3 of your income you give her. Then you wanted to get a better job with a trade. So you went to Job Corps where you couldn't send her any money. Then you came out and you got a job where you were making how much a week at this job working for the city?
About the same thing, $250, $300.
$250 or $300 a week, right? So why weren't you giving her $200 a week? The last job you had where you were making $300 a week, you were giving her $200. What happened in the car, sir? So she asked you for $40 and you said, I'm not giving you $40.
No, I'm not giving her no more money. So she started arguing. You know, we was arguing real loud for a minute, for about an hour, driving on the road. The car just lost control. So I grabbed the wheel, tried to pull the car back on the street. But instead, the car hit the pole and then hit up against the tree.
Okay. What was the total damage to the car?
I wasn't able to get an estimate because I can't afford to get the car towed anywhere. It's not drivable, and I can't afford to have anyone come out and look at it.
When did you buy the car?
In February of 2002, this year.
And how much did you pay for it?
$1,600.
Okay.
And then the value of the car is valued at $2,600.
I don't care what it's valued at, madam. Miss Spear.
And then
you think that I believe he's totally responsible for this? I don't believe he's totally responsible. I believe that you're partially responsible. You don't have a fight in a car with your baby in the car over anything. You stop the car and you say to him, get out. Stop the car, pull over, and say, get out. And then you would have gotten out of the car and you would have composed yourself and you would have continued. You don't fight with him back and forth, especially with the baby in the car. Don't you think the baby hears you screaming back and forth to each other? 2-year-old child understands that.
May I say something, Your Honor?
No. Takes two to make a fight. 2 idiots to make a fight driving in a car with a baby. You want to have a fight with each other in a car, bad enough. You're placing yourselves at risk, other people on the road at risk. But to have a fight in a car with your child in the car screaming and yelling at each other is the height of stupidity. So the car, you paid $1,600 for that, I believe. You only get $8. The other $8, work off at lunch. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. That's all.
Now, this is case number 264 on the calendar in the matter of Cochran versus Marsh. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Cochran, according to your complaint, you and the defendant had dated for a period of time. You became ill and were hospitalized for a period of 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
When was that, sir?
August 30th.
It is your claim, sir, that Miss Marsh, during the time you were hospitalized, took your bank card and withdrew some $1,700 from your bank card without your permission.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you started to complain to her about taking the money after you were released from the hospital, you then claimed she filed false stalking charges against you. You were arrested. You were forced to wear a bracelet, an ankle bracelet monitor, which you had to pay for.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in total, you are suing her for some $3,000 because you say that these charges were false.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So let's start with the hospitalization. What were you hospitalized for, Mr. Cochran?
My doctor said I was under a lot of stress from working a lot. I took a vacation to get away, but it didn't do no good.
So it was a psychiatric hospitalization?
It was behavioral medicine.
Were you self-admitted, or did someone admit you?
They took me by ambulance.
From where?
From McDonald's, where the defendant works.
What happened? Did anything happen in McDonald's?
I felt kind of hot and felt like I was going to faint, and they said I fainted in front of the counter.
But there wasn't a scene or anything there?
No.
Now, how did you get custody of his bank card?
When Paul was admitted to the hospital, he had bills that needed to be paid. His father brought the bills to him at the hospital. He told me to come up. He needed me to take care of his finances. Paul, myself, and the psych tech had to go to security for Paul to release the bank card, the bank number, and details as to what I was supposed to do for him. Yes, Your Honor, I did withdraw the money, which I have proof of, to pay his bills. I have the bills that I paid for Mr. Cochran.
Can I see them, please?
These are the withdrawals. These are most of the bills that I could gather up. That's about like $900 and some worth. And I also have the bill where he said he loaned me $300, that I deposit $300 into his account.
Are you saying you paid $300 of your own bills out of his money?
Yes, I did.
You have a letter indicating that it was with his permission that you paid $300 worth of your bills?
No, I don't have a letter.
Then you can't pay $300 of your bills using his money.
Okay.
Miss Marsh, because if Paul is there for a psychiatric hospitalization,
okay,
you don't do anything with regard to your problems. You only deal with his problems if you're being a friend.
I did that, and I replaced the $300.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is what I was...
Okay.
There's it right here.
When did you replace the $300?
On 9/5/01.
What did he buy on his Zales account? A jewelry store?
He had bought a ring for me. He had bought like a necklace for me.
Did you buy gifts for her?
Yes, Your Honor, but I paid cash for him before we went on vacation to Orlando. There was only one bill that was paid while I was in the hospital, and that was $209.
Capital One bank credit card, $30, $83. Sprint cell phone?
That was her cell phone, Your Honor.
How do I know these are his bills?
Well, because we both had buddy phone bills. I have those.
You paid Sprint $125, and then you have another money order receipt that you paid Sprint $83.15.
For the 2 cell phones.
Well, why were you paying your bill from his account?
Because that's what he told me to do, Your Honor. He said...
No.
Because the phones were in his name.
No. But he's not using them. You had one phone. Who's doctor? A dentist?
I had to have a tooth extracted, and $70, yeah.
So why are you giving me this bill as a bill that you paid for him?
That was one that shouldn't have been in there, but okay.
So I got a Sprint bill that shouldn't have been in there? I got a jewelry store bill?
That's part of the loan, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Can I see how much money was taken out of your account?
It was showing there what was deposited and what was withdrawn the same day, the $300.
All right, now, Miss Marsh, when he got out of the hospital, what happened?
Paul wanted to continue dating, and I told him, I said, Paul, too much is going on. I just don't think it's going to work out between the two of us. And that's when Mr. Cochran started stalking, and...
He didn't say anything to you about the money that was taken out of his account?
No, ma'am. He never said anything about the money. This issue came up after the breakup.
Your Honor?
Yes.
The day I got home, I received a bank statement showing the withdrawals, and I called her and asked her why she withdrew the money from my account without my consent.
And what did she say?
And she hung up on me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have they advised you to be under psychiatric care?
No, Your Honor.
Have they advised you to be on medication?
No.
I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Cochran.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paul Cochran Jr. says ex-girlfriend Odella Marsh stole money from his bank account while he was in the hospital. Paul says when he was released, Odella had him falsely arrested for stalking.
Now, I want to hear about this bracelet. Why did you have to wear a bracelet, sir?
I went to the police station on the case on the bank account.
Okay.
I was arrested in the police department on a warrant by the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department in our town to say that I was stalking her, intimidating her, and invasion of privacy.
Were you doing that?
No, ma'am, I was not.
How was he doing that, Ms. Marsh?
Mr. Cochran was phoning my house. He was creating problems on my job to where they fired him out from off of my job. And he came up to the job one day, just radical. He had, that day he had the gun with him. And I left and I have witness, I went to the police department and I just was filing.
Do you have the papers from the criminal court which ordered you to wear the monitoring bracelet?
Yes,
and
I
the
do.
certificate of
I have
disposition?
everything.
I have
I'd like to see the papers, please.
Okay,
I
here's
got the arrest warrant and everything.
here's everything contrary. Okay?
His, hers.
Thank you. What happened when you appeared in court on July 15th, 2002?
When I appeared in court on that day, his case was dismissed because the last incident where I had to use the panic button, of which I had a device that I carried in my car every day, which was ordered by the court, and also had a panic button that I was to keep on my persons at all times. Mr. Cochran was out by the apartment building, and the machine didn't go off. That stunned me because it's supposed to pick him.
Police reports on the incident, so the prosecutor and the judge dismissed it because of false police reports, but the prosecutor checked in on it, which the monitor will pick up if I come in with 500 feet. On the day that she hit the panic button, I was not in the area. Somebody else was driving my car at the time to see if there was a false police report being made. That's why the case was dismissed. There was an undercover police officer driving the car.
Your Honor, I have a witness that knows how Paul reacted during this time.
May I speak, ma'am?
Sure.